there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark pass away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground, rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds, whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside, a treacherous reality in the pine.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground, rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight could mask their cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground, rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name's Elizabeth, and this is Hillbilly Crime. We're a little bit late this evening. Sorry, we had a baseball game. So, we are just getting home and ready to start this show. Tonight's show, look at the title, Freedom for Favors. Now, one of the things that I did today was, well, not today. I've been planning this, planning our shows all week this week. And one of the things that I did was I went back to the interviews for the Ben Fields investigation. And I started listening to the victims' interviews again, and they hit all different after you found out all the things that we found out since we first listened to them. So we are going to listen to one of the interviews, and you guys tell me what you think, because just in case anybody has forgotten what we're talking about here and what we're dealing with, I don't know who can condone this behavior and this misconduct. I don't know who can condone it. And if you do, it says a whole lot about you. Okay? So let's go over and we're going to listen to this.
Now, the original one was, push it and open it, take one out.
So you brought an ankle monitor, and he gave this to you?
Yeah, that's what I went to jail with.
That's what you had on when you went to jail?
And I didn't know what to do with it.
But that's not been on as far as you know? And when you said, like, when you started this, the flirtation, I guess, you had your bracelet on.
Yes.
So when you got out of jail, you met him.
He met me at the jail with the bracelet.
Met Ben, right?
Right at the jail.
Right at the jail. As soon as you got out,
Yes.
He put your bracelet on.
Yes.
So
That's the wrong one. Let me pull this other one up.
Days disturbed.
Yeah. Let me switch that out. Let me switch that out. Okay.
14th, 2022. Praise myself, Detective Easter, Detective Blevins with the Kentucky Attorney General's Office. We're with the Miss, what's your date of birth again? Can you tell me about your interaction with Ben Fields?
Yeah, I got on house arrest. I can't remember the dates. I've been on it 3 times. Okay, well, the first time I was on it,
and y'all notice by the sound of her voice, this is not Sabrina. Okay. It's got the names redacted in these interviews. Okay. So we don't really know which one it is, but we know their voices since we have been going through this case, and that's not Sabrina. So that only leaves Jennifer Hill, who is unalived. She is no longer with us. And then there was a third one who is also in the civil lawsuit. But I'm not really sure which one of the girls it is. So pay attention.
it was in December when he had me on the display. I figured that up because my house burned down at the same time.
Display?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
It's a fake house arrest bracelet. It doesn't work. It has no coordinates to it.
Why would you be on display?
Because he wasn't making me pay, and then he was letting me go everywhere I wanted to, and then when I was on the regular one, and Patty, the one that's above him, told him that to revoke me because I was leaving all the time. She didn't know he was giving me permission to leave all the time. Well, and my fiance, he was my fiance at the time. Now he's my husband. He can verify it because he took me everywhere. He knew I never did call or anything because I wouldn't happen to pay, like I said, because me and him had kind of like I wouldn't call it it wasn't a sexual relationship because we didn't never have sex, but it was talked about a lot. You know what I mean? He made a lot of comments and stuff about it.
So let's start back at the beginning. Do you know Ben Fields prior to your arrest?
No.
Okay. So you got arrested for what?
I've been arrested a couple times.
Well, let's say the first time you met Ben. At the very beginning.
When I first met him, he was a guard at the jail, but he never did speak to me. I never did speak to him. But now when I got on house arrest, he was just real nice and like, he was real friendly on the phone and stuff.
So when you get on house arrest, you get arrested. To get out of jail, you can go on house arrest.
Yes.
What do they tell you? Do they tell you to go to the courthouse? How do you all meet Ben? How do you?
We go upstairs by ourselves.
Who told you to do that?
The judge.
so you get out, he's gave you a monitor. Is it turned on that first time that he gave you one?
Yeah.
Because you pay it, like you said, your mother-in-law pays it, right? Okay. So you got it paid. And then are you supposed to be checking in with him?
You go check in every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
They check in.
And is that when he's starting to be more friendly?
Yes.
Okay.
In person. But he was also like messaging me and stuff. Like he used to, that's how you would get hold of him. You would text his phone or something like that. Well, I didn't have to text his phone. He added me on Messenger. And then he added.
You can't hear it. Let me stop sharing it and we'll put it back up. You can hear it. Okay. Sorry, y'all.
Put me on Snapchat. Snapchat is where it kind of started at. He started
Snapchat.
telling me that I was pretty and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, I told him he looked good in the uniform, and he was like, well, it's just a uniform. And I was like, no, you look good anyway. And then that kind of escalated. It escalated from there. And one time I walked into the courthouse to pay it, and I told him, I was like, I'm having problems, with paying it this week. He's like, just don't worry about it. And then I started like going. I told him I was going to go here, and he just told me he just didn't care. I mean, where I went, he would let me go wherever I wanted to. Was I going to get dope? Yeah, because he didn't care. You know what I'm saying? And I was a drug addict at the time. I've been 8 months clean now, but
Good. Hope you keep it up.
I'm trying. I'm in drug court. I have to. But
You have to, because for you.
right.
Drug court secondary. I get what you're saying. Yeah, keep up for you.
Yeah, it's been a struggle because I just lost my daddy, but
So y'all are having these messages on Snapchat and Facebook, which is mostly
Snapchat, because you can't keep the messages; they disappear as soon as you open it.
What are some of the messages on Snapchat?
And here recently, I've been getting new information. It ain't just Ben that was using Snapchat. It ain't just Ben that was using other forms of communication to speak to girls in an unprofessional manner. Apparently, there's a whole lot of these Irv Pays up there that like to take pictures of themselves and send these pictures. And there's more than one, more than two that I know of.
Snapchat.
That's when he made the comment that he would like to bend me over and fuck me over the desk. And when I went, and I kind of put a smiley face back to him on it. So when I went in that Wednesday to make it look like I was paying, that's when he told me Patty wanted to revoke me, but he wasn't going to revoke me because he wasn't going to put me in jail, even though that was his order. He put a display on my leg and told me if I ever got pulled over to call him.
Why to call?
I don't know.
Because he's going to get her out of it.
To make it look good or something, because what was on my leg didn't. There's no coordinates because it never worked.
If when your smiley face, did you have a relationship with him, like you wanted a relationship, or was this because of the situation?
Because of the situation.
And how many times have you guys probably get tired of hearing me say it. This investigator, throughout this entire interview, he keeps referring to it as a relationship. He keeps referring to her actions. Well, I hate to tell you, but we all already know that you cannot have these kinds of sexual, coercive, she already said she didn't know Ben before. And he asks her later on in this, would you have fooled with Ben if it wasn't for this? She says no. But yet they keep saying, or they keep acting like, oh, well, as long as he didn't rip her stuff off of her and force her physically, Well, forcing, I would like to see one of these men, one of these investigators, take off their $500 suit and put on one of them little nasty orange jumpsuits with their little flip-flops and go sit in a drunk tank for 3 months under Letcher County Jail, under Letcher County Jail staff. Not as a trustee, not with any kind of special treatment. Why don't you go sit in a jail down there at that jail and tell me that if somebody comes and says, hey, you want out of here? Well, I trade a favor for you. Tell me if you wouldn't do it, and then feel like you were forced to do it, because that's exactly what that is. And anybody that says it's anything different, that she had a relationship, yeah, what do you think that they're going to do? You think they're going to text him back and say, go away? They're not going to want to go back to jail. They're trading people's freedom for favors.
How did you,
I flirted back.
did you, have
Shame
you
on
ever
them.
heard of any other girls that that you didn't have to pay the bracelet or could do what you want to? And this, if you flirted with him or had a sexual relationship with him?
No, I really didn't talk about it to nobody because to be honest, I didn't want somebody else to try to do it. And then him, how can I say that? Like, too many try to do it, and then he couldn't do that because he needed the money or something like that. You know what I mean?
So you don't know any other girls that this happened to?
No, I just know of that girl.
Do you know her? Have you ever talked to her?
No, I just heard about it.
Where'd you hear about it?
Actually, I was talking about it in drug court, and because he had walked by one day, and I called him a son of a bitch.
Why would
Not
you
to
do
his face, but I said that son of a bitch.
Why would you
Because
upset at him?
he took me to jail. I called him and told him, I said, my house
I
arrest
wonder
bracelet's
why.
dead. This last time I was on it. I was just on it for a short period of time. But it did work, and I was paying. But he hadn't really been like talking. We weren't really talking that much about anything like that. It was more divided. It's almost like she tried to escape. So that clears her name on
Did it
that.
come back
And
on?
we'll take her to the jail, but I'll go straight back and get her in the morning.
When I mute my
I left
thing,
my
it's
bag in his
stopping.
car. He kept,
I'll go back a little bit. Sorry, y'all.
and I went and I told him I was going to go to my mom's house and see my kids and stay all night there. And I said, me and it's just my husband are arguing, so I don't want to go home. And he was like, well, you go wherever you need to. And me and my mom kind of got into it, so I didn't go there either. I went and seen my dad, and then I went and visited one of my friends. Well, my ankle bracelet died, and so I called him and I said, Ben, my bracelet died. And he was like, well, look, you don't want to get in trouble for absconding or escape. So I said, well, what do I do? Come get me. And I went back to my mom's, and he was like, I said, I didn't want my mom could have took me to the jail, but he offered, you know, I was like, will you come get me? I was like, you can come get me and take me home if you want to. Or if you got to take me to jail, come. He was like, well,
Can y'all hear
I
it
can do
now?
that. I didn't.
Here, I'm gonna stop it for a second. Can you all hear it? I might have to reshare it where you can hear it. Okay. My dog started barking, so I muted my microphone, and I guess where this is an audio file, it mutes the audio file when I mute my microphone versus where we watch stuff, stream stuff. I can mute mine. So sorry, y'all. You learn something new every day.
Know which one he meant. But when he come got me, he was like, he told me and my mom, my mom was right there. He said, Christy, he said, I'll have to take her to jail because for her house arrest, but I said, died. It's going to look like she tried to escape. So that clears her name on that. And we'll take her to the jail, but I'll go straight back and get her in the morning. I left my bags in his car. He kept them, my phone. He kept it for me. He ended up taking it to my mom. Well, he's supposed to take it to my mom. A couple of days went by. He never did, but he turned it in at the jail. Days after. You're not even supposed to keep your property like that. You know what I mean?
So so you're saying he arrested you because your bracelet died?
Well, I told him that it had died, and I told him to come get me. And he said, well, I'm going to take you to the jail, but I'll be straight back to get you in the morning.
Why would he take you to jail just because couldn't he give you another bracelet?
He just told me he would have to take me to the jail. And I was sitting in the back seat, and he told me to lean up front, and he opened that window right here. And when he did, he kissed me, kind of like aggressive like. And when I kind of scooted back from him, because like I said, we hadn't done nothing like that this time while I was on house arrest, because I wasn't on drugs anymore. And I was trying to be a better person.
So we'll go back right there. So, and you said before, so the first time you got out, you're still on drugs.
Yeah.
And that's, you all had the flirtatious. Is that when the Snapchat messages took place?
Yes.
And that you said you flirted back with him?
Yes.
So then you get in jail again?
Yes. Actually, my brace.
He acts, when he says that, you flirted back with him. It's kind of like he's making sure that he puts it out there that you were just as guilty as he was. You know, that's what that comes across as, especially to a female. That's why I've said all along, they should have had a female do these interviews. I do not know why they would send a vanilla old man to interview these women, especially after they heard the interviews, and everybody just acts like they're, you know, like it was okay. What? And this guy acts so confused. As we get further on into this, like he can't follow what she's saying. He asks her like 4 or 5 times, says he's confused. It's unbelievable to me. Unbelievable to me. Just the whole thing. Can't believe it.
And those charges went away. I don't know whatever. I never went to jail after my bracelet burned up my house. I never went back to jail. This was over something else. Way later when I went to jail. I don't know. I never went to jail after that.
You're confusing me, which is not hard. But
it's not hard,
so,
he said.
You get in jail, you get out, you're flirtatious, that's the Snapchat era, let's say. You get popped again for another criminal charge. What charge was that, the second one?
Methamphetamine.
Possession?
Yeah.
Where at?
Watford.
Okay. So now you got in again. You've got to get out again.
Right. But see now, the first time when I got out, when it was flirtatious and all that, that's when he kissed me in the chambers.
In the judge's chambers?
Yeah, well, in that hallway right there to go to the chambers.
What were you doing there?
I was there. everybody goes there at 4:30 to pay their house arrest. He told me to come up there about 5, so it would look like he was checking my bracelet. That's when I had the display on my leg. But I didn't have to pay him anything, and he didn't check nothing, because that's when I said Patty told him to revoke me, but he put that fake one on my leg, and he said it didn't have nothing, no kind of charge or nothing, it didn't work. And he said, if you ever get pulled over, just you know, call me and let me know, and I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Then,
Not to interrupt you, but I'll get back in line here so I can get chronological. You get out. The first bracelet he gives you is real. It's working.
Yeah.
And then as your relationship builds, that's when you come back and he gives you
the display, because she told him to revoke me, because he was letting me stay gone all the time. She didn't know he was letting me. He wasn't telling her he was letting me.
So now you're at the courthouse. You said he kisses you. Was that a mutual kiss between two people?
No.
Explain that to me.
After he put that on my leg and I stood up to leave, he kind of grabbed me by my shoulders and kind of like, he didn't like hurt me, but he just kind of like pushed me up against the wall, and he started kissing me, and he was holding me up by my hand. And,
did you tell him to quit, or did you?
No.
Oh, she's supposed to.
Did you say anything?
No, I didn't say nothing. I was kind of embarrassed, but I was kind of like, I went along with it because what he had just done.
Okay, then what happened?
Well, then after I left, then we talked. Like I said, it was like on Snapchat and stuff, and we would talk dirty back and forth. But that's when, shortly after that, that's when my house burnt down and my house was bracelet was in it, and it all just went away after that. Nothing was done.
When you were prior to the kiss, did you talk sexual stuff to him from like your perspective to him? Did you say sexual stuff to him?
Yeah.
Like what?
He just asked me how I liked it, and I would tell him. You know what I'm saying? And I would send like hearts and smiley faces, and then I would send wink faces. You know what I'm saying? I went along with it. I did. I don't lie about that.
That's fine. Like I said, don't be embarrassed.
What was she supposed to do?
So now he's kissed you. He's put a dummy bracelet on you, or the display bracelet. Mm-hmm. Then what happens? How does stuff continue?
He told me that. I said, "Well, do I got to pay anything?" And he said, "No, we'll work something out." And he winked at me. And then it kind of got a little bit to where I felt like we were in like a kind of like a deep friendship, because when he'd done this wreck up here where that little girl got killed out on the bypass 2 years ago, he messaged me and he was like, "I just worked this wreck and it was horrible." And he was like telling me about how bad it was, because he said that they didn't know that little girl was in there until they was cleaning everything up and they found her. And then we kind of developed like a deep friendship, you know what I mean? But after that,
that's called manipulation.
I went to jail, and then that's when I got house arrest again. But that time when I got house arrest, everything was strictly business.
Okay.
Until he locked me up and didn't come back and get me the next morning after I pushed him away, kind of didn't kiss him. He didn't come back and get me the next morning. Although my bond was house arrest, a surety bond, he would not come get me and give me house arrest. Patty said yes, who's over top of him, but he wouldn't give it to me. And my mom, she told Mickey, she said, "I have to live in this town, but I know why he won't give it to her."
So that right there, what did she just say? She said her mom told Mickey. Mickey knew, you all. Mickey knew what was going on. It ain't no wonder. It ain't no wonder. And the kinds of things that I'm really starting to hear now about what goes on down there, it's far beyond anything that we could ever have even imagined. That's how bad it is down there. And it just blows me away that nobody cared to investigate any of this further. And now we're several months, past all the chaos down there. And it seems like this stuff is starting to be forgotten. time heals all. Time just goes on and people just forget. They just forget until the next election. We've got to stop voting these people into our offices. That's the people's courthouse that they've turned into a cesspool. And it's been that forever and a day. It didn't just get this way, y'all. This has been going on for a very long time. And people just want to silence. And anybody that comes forward, they come with both barrels blazing. And a lot of people can't hold up against that, you know, especially if they're trying to get you fired from your job, trying to make you homeless, using the court system to take your kids away from you. You think they can't devastate people's lives? They've got all the power they need to destroy anybody, any one of us. And it ought to scare everybody, because if they can do it to one, they can do it to you. And don't you think for a second that any of us are so special that they wouldn't throw you under the bus and in the back in a heartbeat. It's survival of the fittest. And every single one of them, you know, is going to come from their own personal agendas. You had Ben doing his dirt with his powerful position, and there wasn't nobody questioning him. We saw through the group chats and all that. There wasn't no discipline. They didn't, none of them got in trouble for nothing. They ain't got to worry about losing their jobs for nothing, because all their buddies got their backs. I mean, if everybody was willing to look the other way for Ben, what are they willing to do for those higher than Ben?
Because I told you about it.
So we got a Snapchat time frame,
Exactly.
and you get rearrested. You got to meet back with him again. That's when he puts the dummy bracelet on you and kisses you. You go through another period of time. You're talking to him. You get rearrested, and that's the time he kisses you in the cruise.
Yes.
What is that charge for?
That was just where my house arrest bracelet had died. It was revoked. When I got up there, they revoked my bond, but then they reset it because they seen I didn't escape. They told the judge what happened, that I turned myself in. See, he took me to jail, but they done it as I was turning myself in.
So Patty, but that bracelet, the display bracelet, doesn't have. It's not working.
No.
So how do they know that it's dead?
I mean, she thought I was locked up because she told him to revoke me. He was the only one that knew anything, and she don't tell nobody, like the judge or nobody. That's up to him to do.
So you're saying that Patty thinks that when he takes that original bracelet off and gives you the display, Patty thinks that you're still on the monitoring.
No, she thought I was going to jail because she told him to revoke my house arrest bracelet.
But he didn't.
No.
So then later on, they find out all this, right?
I don't know if they ever found it or not. Like I said, I never went to jail over it.
But why did you get arrested though for your display being dead when nobody knows it but you and him?
No, my display wouldn't what was dead. Okay, after my display, like I said, when I had the display on, it burned up in my house. You could take it on and off. It burned up in my house. Well, after I told him it burned up in there and everything, I never went back to jail. They knew I was off house arrest and I wasn't on the bracelet, but I never went back to jail, period.
You hear that? So you think the court wasn't involved, or the court didn't know something? I mean, this stuff just doesn't disappear. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that all they have to do is go back and check the records and see when she was arrested, what she was arrested on. All they have to do is look back through the records.
It was involuntary to go, so I had to put me another bracelet on.
No, he did. I didn't need one. They said. I mean, he told me everything was okay.
He told you that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after that,
and remember, after these interviews, they gave her a job. They gave Ben's wife a better job in the courthouse upstairs with them. I mean, it doesn't look like anything except for a reward to me. How does it look to you guys? After hearing this, they make Ben a trustee in the jail. After hearing this, they don't do any other investigating. I mean, come on.
then I got charged with, it was an old charge, for the possession of methamphetamine.
Nobody
But
cared.
the one charge that I had with that charge, what they found in the car wasn't meth. It was Epsom salt, and they thought it was meth, but they sent it off and finally it come back and all that stuff. But they did get me with what was in my purse. But that's what pretty much I'm in drug court over now, because when I went to jail, when he took me to jail, and they, they told me, they said, well, we're going to revoke your bond, but we'll reinstate it in the morning. He's going to come back down here and get you in the morning and put you back on house arrest.
No, he didn't.
So they don't get you for escape, because, I told him to take me to jail, so they looked at it like I was turning myself in, because my bracelet died, so I wouldn't turn myself in. Like I had just been past curfew. Well,
But you didn't have a bracelet.
no, my bracelet was on then. It had just died. This was this time, where I told you it had just been strictly business. That was this time.
That's the kiss in the car.
Yes.
Okay.
As he was taking me to jail for my bracelet dying, that's when he kissed me in the car, and I backed up. And when I backed up, he took me on to the jailhouse, and he said, I'll be back to get you in the morning. But I knew right then that he wouldn't.
Did you say anything to him about the kiss?
No.
How did he tell you just, if somebody's in the back, I can't obviously kiss them. How did
He
that
just
happen?
told me to lean up there. I thought he was going to tell me something at first, but he wrapped his arm around me and then just started like, he's fucking bad at it too. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but he was like all over my face, and anybody would have backed up. His wife probably would have backed up. I mean, I don't know if he was like trying to kiss me or if he was hungry. I told him that too. I was like, what are you doing? And I backed up, and after I backed up, he took me to the jail, and that's when I stayed in there for 3 months. And then they
3
let me
months.
out on drug court, which was what I'm on now.
How many times have we heard this girl here says she was left in there for 3 months? Sabrina, she was also stuck in jail for months. Jennifer Hill was also stuck in jail for months. Where was the charges for that stuff? Like, this interview makes me so angry. Like, I'm just quivering inside. My insides are just shaking all over, because I cannot believe that anybody would listen to these interviews, investigate Ben and what he was doing, and they didn't look no further. It's out there, y'all. It's out there. But nobody wants to do anything about it. If you tell it, if you're a victim and you tell it, well, one person that I know specifically now, because she came out and spoke up, now she's facing 15 years in prison. She's got a criminal charge against her, and she swears up and down she's innocent. that this is retaliation against her speaking out. And apparently, allegedly, whenever her lawyer went to go speak to him up there, all they could talk about was her videos. All they wanted to talk about was how her videos had hurt their family. What about the truth? What about the people that they have hurt? What about these women that were victims who had to just suck up their pride and do the favors? I'd like to see any of them be in the situation that they put these women in. And I don't care. All they want to say is, you drug addict, you a rug addict, you a rug addict. Well, you know what? Most of the rug addicts that I know are better people than they ever even thought about being themselves. Most of them that I know would give you the shirt off their back because it was probably all that they had. Greed is, I don't care how much money you got. If you are that unattractive on the inside, you can put lipstick on a pig all you want to, honey, but it's still just a pig. It's just a pig with bright red lipstick on.
Okay, let me see if I can get this straight here. We get in trouble, we get out,
Yep.
you get it hooked up, you all start having sexual messages, Snapchat and Facebook. You meet him to pay your thing. He ends up giving you a display bracelet.
Mhm.
Y'all continue your relationship of flirtatious.
Mhm.
Your bracelet gets burned up.
Mhm.
Yep. You get in trouble again.
Mhm.
They give you a real bracelet again.
Mhm.
That
Yep.
is monitored.
Mhm.
It dies.
Mhm.
So it looks like you've escaped or not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So you're going to turn yourself in. How do you know why didn't you just stay hid? Or you knew it was dead, you needed to do
Oh, I
something?
knew I was going to get in trouble.
So you might as well did you contact the sheriff's office?
Yeah.
Or the court? Did you contact Ben or somebody else?
Yes, and my mom contacted me.
And they said, come turn yourself in because your bracelet's dead. Before you could do that, Ben shows up at your house, puts you in a car saying, I'll take you down there. I'll get you
Well,
out in the
he asked me
morning.
where I was, and I said, the whole day while my bracelet, like when it died, from then till I turned myself in, he knew everywhere I was at. And I told him, I said, will you just come get me and just take me down and let me turn myself in, so they don't think I've escaped. And he said, yeah. And he come to my mom's, which is across from Taco Bell.
I mean, they were manipulating these women with control, power, fear. The fear that they put into these girls to go back to jail. They knew how bad that jail was. They knew these girls were going to do whatever they needed to do to stay out of there. And they used it. They played on their emotions. They lied like dogs. And trying to make them, and each one of these women said the same thing. We ended up being friends. We had a deep friendship. They didn't have no friendship. Them women just thought they did. How many times does the abused end up identifying or having compassion for the abuser? It happens all the time. I know when I was a little girl and it was happening to me, I didn't want to tell because I didn't want him to get in trouble. I knew he'd get in really bad trouble, but he was the only one that ever gave me any attention. He was the only one in the world that ever bought me little trinkets and acted like they cared about me. No, I didn't want to tell it because I knew if I did, I was going to lose his attention. He was going to be mad at me for betraying his trust. That's how they mess with your mind. I was a little girl. That was a little girl. That should never have been put on me. Just like these women. It should never have been put on them. A choice. What choice? They didn't have no choice. Are you kidding me?
We're going to go to jail anyway. But he ends up getting up with you, and so now you're in a car with your stuff. He tells you to come up through the screen where it slides. He then kisses you, and then you go on to jail 3 months later. Is that the end of your all's relationship?
Yeah.
Is this a police car or is he in his personal vehicle?
It's a police car.
Was he in uniform?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always in uniform.
I'll go back and ask again. I think I did. Did y'all ever have sexual intercourse?
No.
Any kind of oral sex? No. Did he, other than kissing you at the courthouse?
He's rubbed on me like that day when he kissed me up against the wall. He had his hands all over my front and my back.
Okay. With obviously, was that the same day as the kiss or
Yeah.
just different times?
Same day.
So you had 2 times that were physical contact, kissing, 2 times kissing, and then the same day at the courthouse when he was putting the display on. What parts of your body did he touch? Your leg, your head, your elbow?
No, he ran his leg up my leg and then up to my private part, and then he had my honey. He was holding, like, both his hands were on each one of my ass cheeks, like he was had me lifted up, kissing me, lifted me up completely, kissing me.
Did you tell him no or
No.
don't do this?
No.
How?
Did you touch him
No.
in a sexual way?
No.
Do you remember when those times were, like the meeting at the courthouse? Do you remember when that was?
It was about June when we met at the courthouse. It was in June of 2020.
And they still do.
And then this time when he kissed me, it was August the 5th of 2021.
Because who's doing anything?
Master Cruiser kiss.
He drives one of the older ones, like the Crown Vics.
Have you had any communication with him since your arrest? That was the last time you spent the time in jail.
Sure.
Do you have any of those messages on your phone?
No.
Do you still have them on your Facebook account?
Yes.
Can you get in your Facebook account?
I've done a Google recovery, and it's supposed to let me know. It takes it a couple of days, I guess, to do it, to prove it's you, to verify it's you.
Was that when he told you that he would, and I apologize, obviously I have to use the same words, you know what I'm talking about, but when he told you that he would bend you over, is that the worst he said to you? Do you remember any more messages?
He would just talk about oral sex all the time, and he would talk about how hard he liked it. It was rougher than the same.
Disgusting.
Would you have had a relationship with him if it wasn't for the position of, you know, and when I say relationship, you wouldn't have been in contact with him if you wouldn't have met him if you saw him at Walmart or
No.
you didn't know him prior to that.
No.
You can tell this investigator does not like her answers. He doesn't like her answers at all. And it's coming across in his voice. You know, people really don't realize their body language, the voice, the tone of voice that they use. We had one of our grandmas at our ball game tonight. Her facial expressions are just priceless. She cannot hide anything that she thinks. It's just written all over her face. And a lot of people are like that. And this guy, I've heard enough of these interviews. You can just feel it. How do you think these women felt talking to this guy? Because I've been a victim of sexual abuse. more than once. And I know how I would have taken this guy if he was interviewing me. He probably wouldn't have liked me very well because I would have told him exactly what I thought.
Do you have his phone number? Do you know it? Did he ever ask and say, hey, when are we going to hook up and have sex or anything like that?
He never asked when. He would just talk about it all the time about his business.
What do you think the reason that he gave you the display for and let you go wherever and do all that? Why did he do that for you?
Because I was talking dirty back to him. I was doing it with him, you know what I mean?
If you would have not talked to him dirty, would he have done that?
No.
And this woman sounds very credible to me. How does she sound to you guys? She don't sound like she's slurring her words. She don't sound like she's trying to find pieces, and making stuff up. She doesn't sound like that to me. But,
You got a question?
And the other investigator didn't have any questions. Nope, I don't think so. Nope, I think we need to end this now. Just blows me away, y'all. Well, I'm not going to go too long tonight since it's so late and we got school in the morning anyway. So we're just going to do one of these at a time, but we're going to go back and we're listening to all of these this week. And we've heard that one before. I'm pretty sure whenever I listened to it today, I didn't remember listening to this one. And so I might have just overlooked this one, and we may not have listened to this before. So I really wanted to listen to it tonight because I think it's just awful. I think it's awful that these people say, come forward, come forward. And then when you come forward, this is what happens. You destroy these victims' lives, isolate them socially, turn them into whatever you're trying to turn them into, like they're the bad guys. And these men are the real victims. That's the way they're trying to spin this. That these men in these powerful positions who had all the power, who had all the control, they're the victims. I don't know how this is anything but human trafficking. They controlled them in the jail. They controlled them in the drug court. They controlled them in the house arrest. They controlled them in rehab. You tell me where in their life, once they got into the system, where they had any control over their own lives. Because I don't see it anywhere. Yeah, I know. Scorpio girl, 53. I cannot believe with what happened. No one is looking further into the behavior of the courthouse. Trauma bonds. Alan, get a towel. There's towels in there. Go get a towel. Jackie, they'll clear a whole department out over stealing funds, but won't clear out a department for R-ing women and men and taking advantage of their bad situation. Scott Blair, the Commonwealth attorney from Hazard. He was R-ing men. The only thing he was charged with was honest services fraud. Where were the smex charges? Where were the rug charges? I mean, you cannot make this stuff up, y'all. You cannot make this stuff up. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. They think us, the citizens, have no right to know anything. And for so long, they've gotten away with it. Yeah, they act like this around here is a private matter. And you're not allowed to talk about it. And if you do, we're all going to bully you. We're going to act really, really bad. Well, we'll see how far the intimidation and the retaliation goes. Because you can't hide it. You can't do it in secret. Let's see. Good grief, I think this guy's enjoying this interview. Well, he sure, we've got a couple more to go this week. And he sure does not, like whenever there's a few parts in these interviews where the women get kind of emotional, you know, like feeling ashamed and stuff. And his reaction is just, instead of saying, no, this was not okay. What happened to you was not okay. Has anybody said anything like that? Because I haven't heard it. I haven't heard one compassionate word. I've not heard one word be addressed on any of this stuff. Not one person has come out to address any of it. Not one. They just want to get mad at me because I got a show and I talk about this stuff. Well, get over it. Miss Woogies. I mean, I would call. They would answer with an excuse or not answer at all. Either way, that's what I submitted to the judge. I guess I missed your first one. Oh, I printed out the report of the bracelet and submitted it to the judge. They didn't owe me explanations. I guess I came in on that a little bit late. Why can't she do a more thorough written statement? Miss Christie, when you're feeling threatened, telling no will just get you in more trouble with the person. They've each one that said no, that told him no, was put back in jail. Each one of them. And so I don't see how these people get by with having their cake and eating it too. So you can make a justification on this side of something and then flip it around and then justify it on the other end. Like, it's just craziness. It's craziness. When you have multiple women who don't know each other, some of these women didn't know each other, and they're saying the same things. The same things was happening. Ben only got convicted for one person, Sabrina. The other one died before court, which is very suspicious in its own right. Said she OD'd. Well, I mean, all we know is what they tell us. And I kind of would like to have some proof, some evidence, something. Because too many of these people are just bold-faced liars. We've seen that. Lie like a dog. I ain't taking their word for poop. Find out which of the two possible victims had her house burned. Remember, she said that. Yeah. Well, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter who. We don't have to know their identification, It doesn't matter. They were a woman. They were on the house arrest or they were in jail. And they were victims. They were abused. They were coerced. They were taken advantage of. They were manipulated. But I guess that's okay. It was just 3 of them. Come on, man. It's okay. Because why? Because they're not as important. They're not part of the cool kids. They're not part of your cool clique. Well, honey, I don't want to be part of that cool clique. I like being able to lay my head down at night and sleep very peacefully. I have to live with myself at the end of the day. We all do. And the ones that are miserable, I guarantee you they're miserable. Miserable people. Misery likes company. And evil spreads. It spreads. You can have all the good people you want start working somewhere, and it's like a bag of apples. You get one rotten apple in that bag, and it rots all the others that are touching it. It just starts to spread and infect. And that's exactly what poison does. That's what evil does. But we can sure put on our pretty dress on Sunday morning and go to church with our whole family. Because they do. You better believe they do. And they're just so much better than we are. They're just better. They got more family members. They're just better. And we'll just go tell lies on people and try to get them not to like you. Well, that's their playbook. That's their playbook. All right, guys. Thank you all. Thank you. I'm sorry that we were late. Yep. A Teague. Sounds like the interviewer thinks of it as a quid pro quo. Yep. That's what it sounds like, doesn't it? How horrible. And see, us normal people react that way. This is just horrendous to hear. That they subjected these people to this stuff. Do you think that it just started? How many do you think have been subjected to this over time? But a lot of it has been going on for many years and decades, right? So you've got women now who are married. You've got women who are mothers, who have kids, who've moved on. They're not going to want to dredge all that back up. And especially seeing how the retaliation environment that we are in right now. People aren't going to come forward, especially if there's not going to be any kind of punishment. Why would they do that to themselves? Why would they turn their lives upside down? I didn't have nothing to lose. I had everything to gain. I had nothing to lose. But there's a lot of other people out there that do have a lot to lose. And they're not going to come forward as long as nobody's taking them seriously, as long as nobody cares, as long as everybody keeps thinking of them as subhuman. They're not worthy of an investigation, of a real investigation. They're not worthy of the truth. They're not worthy of anybody standing up for them. Well, I mean, you had this civil suit came out that started every bit of it. But it's on hold right now. You had Mickey walk in there and do what he did. Why do you think Mickey did it? There's a connection here. I feel it with every fiber in my being. Trouble is, they don't call it what it is. They won't investigate to find the problem. Nope. But I told you earlier, our votes are the only thing that's going to change this. Our votes. And we have to have more choices on those ballots. But who's going to put their name in that hat? Knowing what kind of retaliation they would get just for running. We've seen it. We've seen it. All right, guys. I'm going to jump off of here tonight. Go to bed. Thank you, Miss Connie. Bless you, bless you, bless you. And y'all have a great rest of your evening. We will pick back up in the morning with our day bail trial. And then tomorrow night, we got us another one. Freedom for favors. All right, guys. Thank you. Stay blessed. Stay warm. Say a prayer for all of those who are struggling with whatever, whether it be health, whether it be financial, whether it be emotional, no matter what it is. Lord, we just pray that you will touch each of us that need you, Lord. We pray that you will heal each of us, the wounds that we all have, Lord. We pray that you will give us peace, that you'll give us strength, that you'll go before us, Lord, and show us the path and guide us in the right direction. We just pray that you keep this hillbilly train on the tracks, Lord, and go with us and be with us as we go to bed tonight and help us to wake up in the morning. In Jesus' name, amen. I ain't the best prayerer, but that's all right. That's all right. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out, Girl Scout. Bye.
You can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You can't hide from hillbilly crime.
You may not know that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark pass away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask the cries. Shadows call